Hey there. So I am here hanging out in my office in the EH building. Remember, my office is room 258 in the EH building, and I'm here Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 12 and then from 2 to 3. So if you want to come over and talk about your paper, I can also help you find sources, help you evaluate your sources. So please remember that I'm here. I can also meet you by appointment. So if you want to email me and we can make a plan to meet via Teams or via Collaborate in the Blackboard course room. So this week we will begin compiling our annotated bibliography. So an annotated bibliography is simply a works cited list, a list of sources with annotations. And by annotations, I mean summaries of the information you want to use in your paper. That's what an annotation is. It's a brief summary. So this week we have first off the discussion board. We will explore another rhetorical strategy in this discussion board, and that is cause and effect. So what are some of the causes you see for gun violence in the United States? So this week, you want to read a little bit about the rhetorical mode of cause and effect, and then post at least 200 words in response to the discussion board. Remember, that is due by the end of the day today, and then your response to another student is due by the end of the day Wednesday. So once you do your original post on the discussion board, then we have assignment 3.1, which is the first step in our annotated bibliography. So after you complete the discussion board post, read through all of the material in the folder called Reading and Viewing Material, because there you're going to learn how to find scholarly journal articles, how to create a works cited list in MLA format, and you'll also learn how to do a parenthetical reference to cite your sources in your essay. So your annotated bibliography in total should consist of 6 scholarly sources. So a scholarly source is an article in a peer-reviewed journal. It may also be a chapter of a book that you found in the library. So make sure you also watch the video in the reading and viewing material that will show you how to identify scholarly journal articles. Just because something's in a journal does not mean that it is a scholarly article. Scholarly articles are peer-reviewed by fellow experts. So in this week's assignment, you're asked to include 2 sources from your annotated bibliography notes. So the annotations you write for each of these sources should amount to 2 small paragraphs. So that means for 2 sources, you're going to have 4 paragraphs in total. In each annotation, include the information from the source that is relevant to your research question. So how is this source contributing to your research? So in the first paragraph of your annotation, that's where you put the main idea of the source and the supporting ideas. In the second paragraph of your annotation, that's where you specify the information that you will use for your paper and explain how you plan to use that in your paper. How will this particular source enrich your work? So we will be working on the annotated bibliography for the next 2 weeks. Now we are in the phase of the research project where we are hunting for sources and learning more about our topic. You should be reading your sources and taking notes. It's very important to take notes because you want to keep track of where your information comes from. A good research paper always cites the sources where the information comes from. So you must cite in a parenthetical reference in your essay immediately after a direct quote. So if you're pulling the language directly from your source, you're going to put quotations around it and cite the source immediately after the quote. If you are paraphrasing information from your source, meaning you're not taking it verbatim, you're putting it into your own words, you still have to cite the source in a parenthetical reference, but in this case, you can cite it at the end of the paragraph. So, good research paper always cites all the sources. So as you're looking for sources, there are two main places you can find good scholarly sources. You can look on Google Scholar, and Google Scholar is a subcategory of Google that only pulls up scholarly articles. And you can use the DSU library. Keep an eye out for a video where I explain how to do a search in each one. So, this phase of the project, in my opinion, is the funnest part of a research paper because it's the research. This is where we discover new things. This is where we expand our knowledge, and I can't wait to see what you find.